Welcome to the 2022 AIA New York State Design Awards celebration. 24 projects were recognized for awards in 12 categories. Citation: Adaptive Reuse, Historic Preservation. LaGuardia Community College, part of the City University of New York system, is located in Long Island City, New York. The CUNY LaGuardia Community College Facade and Lobby Renovation Project, submitted by Mitchell Jurgala, transformed the 100-year-old 1 million square foot Center 3 building in Long Island City into a structure that aims to support the activities of the college for the next century. The project involved two major scopes of work: the complete replacement of the exterior cladding of the building, inclusive of all aspects of the ground floor, sidewalks, and signature billboard signage at the top of the building, and a reinvention of the entrance sequence and lobby of a building that serves hundreds of occupants daily. On the exterior, years of neglect, patching, inadequate, and sometimes damaging repairs contributed to exterior wall failures, including chunks of terracotta falling from the building. A sidewalk shed to protect pedestrians from falling objects surrounded the building for over a decade while potential solutions were considered. The design team was directed to develop a new exterior cladding that respected the long history of terracotta use on the facade and to incorporate contemporary technology in the form of a unitized curtain wall system. The project also afforded an opportunity to reinvent the lobby and entrance sequence of the building, improving clarity, security, and flow. Multiple entrances, which created confusion, were reduced to one canopied primary entrance in the center of the front facade, where security was concentrated. This had the effect of opening additional interior space at the well-lit corner of the building for casual meeting, study, and eating space. A two-story signature stair was added for direct connection to the public spaces of the second floor. Citation: Adaptive Reuse, Historic Preservation. Gansevoort Row, located in New York City, is a group of 5 contiguous structures in the Gansevoort Market Historic District. Submitted by BKSK Architects, their redevelopment for a single owner was created from 11 original buildings that had undergone various interventions in their existence and were left as underutilized commercial spaces. The project required a complex proposal to the Landmarks Preservation Commission, which was unanimously confirmed. The full block design celebrates the many periods of significance within this historic district, a showcase for utilitarian brick buildings of multiple eras, many with compelling interplay of masonry materials. The architectural interventions of the 3 smallest buildings might go unnoticed, as they involve transformation for modern retail by restoration and interior reconfiguration. The 2 largest buildings include an 80,000 square foot vertical expansion and new construction. They appear separate, yet are linked by one core. In 60 to 68 Gansevoort Street, BKSK restored the 2-story surviving vestige of a 5-story 19th century tenement as a base for a respectful dialogue between the old and new. This includes detailing a brick facade for 3 new upper floors, quietly distinct from the 150-year-old masonry below, and employing a clear contemporary brick screen to highlight points of interest, such as ghosts of former chimney flues, window lintels, and cornices. The new 70 to 74 Gansevoort Row completes the block as a 6-story building, evoking the gravitas of the grand warehouses found within the surrounding blocks. It anchors this important corner with a visually striking masonry building composed of prominent large arched bays within a traditionally inspired composition as an homage to the district's overall industrial strength character. An anchor block revealed from one of the last underdeveloped blocks in the area, it is a significant addition to a thriving commercial area, creating a gateway from popular tourist destinations, the Whitney Museum and the High Line, to the neighborhood. Merit Award: Adaptive Reuse, Historic Preservation. Located in Brooklyn, New York, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, Bam Strong and Harvey Theater project submitted by Mitchell Jurgala transforms 3 adjacent properties on Fulton Street in downtown Brooklyn into a lively cultural destination for audiences, artists, and neighbors. Redevelopment of the Harvey Theater and new construction and renovation of the 2 adjacent properties provide state-of-the-art infrastructure, theater technology, and improvements to the patron experience. The resulting unified complex is a key feature of the New York City Economic Development Corporation's Downtown Brooklyn Cultural District Development Plan. Bam Strong gives new life to the former Majestic, a 120-year-old burlesque house that became a movie house in the 1940s, gradually falling into decay from age, lack of care, and extensive water damage. The theater was rediscovered in the 1980s by BAM's then-president Harvey Lichtenstein, and on a very tight budget, it was converted to a contemporary thrust stage configuration, opening in 1987. This renovation intentionally left the performance space and lobby with a distressed appearance that over time became a unique and beloved characteristic. The project was phased over 10 years to conform to BAM's active programming schedule, as well as city funding. The first phase included re-raking the 850-seat orchestra and balcony areas to improve sightlines, provide code-compliant row-to-row dimensions, new bespoke seats and vomitories at orchestra level to meet egress requirements. Also included are 3D cinema, surround sound, and variable acoustics. Subsequent phases include renovations to the public spaces and new patron amenities, expanded lobby and customer services, patrons lounge, art gallery, cafe, and retail space. The entire complex has been made ADA compliant, including an elevator reaching all 4 floors. An artful restoration of the original aging facade and a distinctive 180-foot-long marquee unify the 3 properties and give the theater a visible presence consistent with its importance to the cultural life of the district. Honor Award, Adaptive Reuse, Historic Preservation. The Nanotronic Smart Factory, a 44,000-square-foot flagship production center located in Brooklyn, New York, converts a 150-year-old Civil War-era shipbuilding warehouse in the Brooklyn Navy Yard into an advanced manufacturing facility and headquarters. The project, submitted by Rogers Partners Architects and Urban Designers, brings together research, design, prototyping, and fabrication under one roof. The building was constructed by the Department of the Navy to facilitate the armor plating of wooden ships. Leaving the building's shell intact, enclosed yet transparent pods are stacked on 2 floors, with double-height public spaces nestled in between. This approach resolves the critical design challenge of creating enclosed workspaces, some of which need to be airtight, soundproof, and climate-controlled, without cutting up the building, impeding the flow of collaborative spaces, or compromising the beauty of the long, narrow building. The pods were constructed of wood, cross-laminated timber to expedite construction. The wood surfaces were left exposed with blackened steel railings, stairs, and wainscot, harkening back to the steel-plated boats that once occupied the building. The overarching goal was to create a blueprint for urban manufacturing in America, to prove that cities with their skilled workforce and legacy infrastructure are the perfect location for the next wave of industrial advancement. More specific goals were to vertically integrate the process from concept through final production that fostered interaction and communication throughout among all team members, from PhD scientists to the CNC mill operator. The project was to reveal the process and make sure a visitor who entered the facility understood that things are made here. The project's adaptive reuse of legacy infrastructure greatly reduces the carbon footprint of the city's first smart factory. The new facility is on track to create 110 new local jobs and offers a training pipeline, hosting programs in partnership with CUNY and Medgar Evers College so that New Yorkers can obtain and retain those positions. Citation: commercial, industrial, small projects, less than 5,000 square feet. Since the 19th century, the Catskill Mountains have offered a serene and scenic reprieve for the increasingly urbanized northeastern seaboard of the United States. Thomas Cole enshrined the landscape into the American conscious by painting its grand sylvan panoramas, inspiring a generation of artists known as the Hudson River School. The Puyallup Landscape Retreat project, submitted by Garrison Architects, was designed to immerse visitors into that same natural setting while emphasizing the pristine beauty that the region is known for. The hotel is comprised of 24 individual cabins that are scattered amongst the trees on a secluded hill that overlooks the Catskill Escarpment. Each cabin is oriented to a large operable window wall that opens up to the outdoors to give the bedrooms the feel of a screened porch. These windows are designed to present visitors with a sensory atmosphere of outdoor camping from the comfort of an indoor cabin. The cabins are clustered in groups, some of which are linked by a flexible living room to create 2-bedroom suites. The wood structures were factory fabricated in Quebec, transported to the site, and craned into their locations to minimize on-site disturbance, preserving local habitats and ecosystems. The main house is a communal space that can be utilized as a library, dining room, and contains a lounge, fireplace, and bar. The dining room accommodates 80 guests. Hidden below the green terrace is a full-featured spa, fitness room, and deck area with a pool. The landscape retreat encourages visitors to explore beyond the hotel grounds, which are traversed on foot with nature trails that loop in and out of surrounding woods and wetlands. The Landscape Hotel is designed to foster interaction among visitors in communal spaces, while allowing them to relax at the spa and retreat to private cabins, providing a getaway amidst the Catskill Mountains. Citation: commercial, industrial, large projects greater than 5,000 square feet. TQL Stadium serves as home to Soccer Club FC Cincinnati and a canvas to express the team and city's evolving identity on a global stage. Nestled between two of Cincinnati, Ohio's most notable neighborhoods, the historic West End and the Over the Rhine district, TQL Stadium, submitted by Populace, enhances connectivity between FC Cincinnati, the city, and the overall community. The venue is oriented to welcome avid MLS supporters and boasts an expansive eastern plaza that dramatically connects the urban environment to the excitement within. The exterior design draws direct inspiration from the kinetic energy of the club's fan base. More than 500 formed aluminum elements wrap the exterior, each lined with a one-of-a-kind linear LED video fixture, boldly displaying state-of-the-art dynamic digital content. The formed aluminum facade defies stasis, shaped in a way that creates a singular twisting motion across the expanse of the stadium, with the overall form signifying the tension between two teams about to take the pitch. When viewed straight on, narrow openings provide soccer fans a glimpse inside to build anticipation for the experience to come. A grand plaza staircase welcomes fans to it all, an entry sequence like no other in the MLS. At dusk, the exterior skin comes alive. By implementing a one-of-a-kind LED lighting system, a brilliant and colorful video display results, which showcases the club brand, atmospheric graphics, and match-day messaging. Once inside, 360-degree multi-tiered seating bowl and a roof canopy overhead direct the energy of the spectators to the field of play. From its urban site location to its unifying design elements, TQL Stadium serves as a connecting fabric within Cincinnati, strengthening societal connections at every scale. Honor Award: commercial, industrial, large projects greater than 5,000 square feet. LaGuardia Airport's new Terminal B, submitted by HOK, symbolizes the transformation of one of the nation's highest-profile airports. The transparent, fluid design of the 850,000 square foot arrivals and departures hall, known as the Head House, celebrates movement while conveying a strong civic presence. Initially, the architects provided professional advisory services for the $8 billion project, the first entirely new U.S. airport in over 25 years. In coordination with the full team, the architects developed a cohesive, overarching design worthy of New York City. The original master plan provided for the design competition suggested a head house with traditional peninsular concourses extending into the airfield. The developer and design team instead had a bold vision of creating two island concourses accessed from the main terminal through two 450-foot-long, 65-foot-high pedestrian bridges. This dramatically increased the efficiency of airport operations by moving the new terminal 600 feet closer to the Grand Central Parkway, recapturing 40 acres of land for airside operations. The bridge solution enabled contractors to build the new terminal over the existing structure, shaving almost 2 years off the construction schedule, minimizing impact to ongoing operations, and saving millions of dollars. New Terminal B celebrates arrivals and departures equally. The interior communicates New York City's vibrancy, material sensibility, and cultural diversity. Passengers enjoy soaring, airy, grand-scaled sequences, punctuated by 60-foot-high ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows that fill the space with daylight. Indoor green space is modeled after urban pocket parks and includes lush landscaping and sculptural benches. Concourses feature ample seating with charging stations, spacious and modern restrooms, nursing rooms for mothers and infants, and custom public art installations curated by the Public Art Fund in partnership with LaGuardia Gateway Partners. It is the world's first airport to earn LEED version 4.1 Gold certification, to have an Envision Platinum rating, the highest rating possible, and the first project to earn recognition under version 3 of the framework developed by the Institute for Sustainable Infrastructure. Citation: Institutional. Deweyville University Health Professions Hub, submitted by Canon Design, confronts two critical challenges in the Buffalo region. First, the city's west side community, rich with immigrants and refugees, is underserved and faces complex challenges around limited access to care and prevalent poverty and food insecurity. Concurrently, the region anticipates a critical shortage of healthcare professionals in excess of 10,000 by 2024. The hub converts these into opportunity as a first-of-its-kind health center featuring innovative learning spaces, a workforce center, virtual training resources, and a clinic offering primary care, rehabilitation medicine, nutrition, nursing, and pharmacy. A planning structure of care, comprehend, and connect is utilized for organizing these opportunities up through the building with a central atrium that stitches them together. These same principles extend beyond the inside with an outdoor classroom and respite garden at level 3. All at once, it improves community access to healthcare services, introduces educational opportunities, prepares a new workforce to seize in-demand healthcare jobs, and supports a living wage ecosystem for Buffalo's West Side residents. The hub is located at one of Buffalo's most historic and walkable districts. The design and material palette reinforce and strengthen the urban fabric, which had lost some of its character over the years. The materiality also transitions and turns the corner of the building seamlessly, from complementary brick, glass, and metal on the community street side to more collegiate materials and massing, evocative of the college on the opposite side. Deweyville University and its design team partnered with the Albright Knox Art Gallery and its public art team to ensure this project served and beautified its local community. The team ultimately brought in renowned national muralist Maya Hayuk to paint the Tree of Y on a key face of the building. This injection of public art amplifies the design of the project and further beautifies the city's west side. Merit Award: Institutional. The Dwight Englewood School, a leading independent college preparatory school located in Englewood, New Jersey, seeks to provide students with an experience that fosters their development into mature, knowledgeable, and energetic citizens of the 21st century. It encourages students to be aware of the issues that society faces and interested in engaging them. The school wants them to have confidence based on their extensive academic, intellectual, physical, and socio-emotional growth, to go into the world ready to live healthy lives and become leaders in their fields. And most importantly, Dwight Englewood wants its students to grow as people and develop into responsible adults. The school firmly believes that the design of their facilities has the power to create paradigm shifts in the way they deliver education. As part of this paradigm shift, they sought to reimagine the middle school experience and develop a design that would enable children to learn in a creative and meaningful way. As part of Gensler's decade-long master planning at the Dwight Englewood School, the middle school creates inclusive educational opportunities that enable multiple pathways for student success. As seen through Dwight Englewood Middle School, the new school does not ask how it can best support the average learner, but how it can best support all learners. Rather than designing one optimal universal learning experience, it becomes imperative that schools are designed for choice, adaptability, and connectivity, providing multiple pathways to skill development that spark the joy of learning in each student. Merit Award: Institutional. Submitted by Andrea Steel Architecture, the new support building for NASA's Glenn Research Center, a facility in Cleveland, Ohio that designs and develops innovative technology to advance NASA's missions in aeronautics and space exploration, involves a series of linear elements organized in response to the campus context and desired programmatic adjacencies. Running north-south, a sequence of open office and training spaces are contained between a service bar that houses private offices and meeting rooms and a resource wall of support functions. The service spaces, including loading docks, kitchen, and mechanical rooms, are located primarily at the northern end of the structure. Bisecting these elements is a raised, cantilevered platform containing campus communal spaces, including a dining area. This elevated structure reaches out toward the campus's main artery, Taylor Road, creating a large, covered plaza leading to the building's main entrance. The communal bar marks the separation between the open office and dedicated use campus resource spaces in the longer volume. The massing of the research support building maintains the scale of the existing research buildings on the campus and acknowledges the fifth elevation visible from the adjacent airport and space marking a literal X marks the spot. The design of the landscape, including the establishment of the new Wright Commons, aims to celebrate the heart of the historic research campus by drawing people from across the campus to one location. The chosen materials of metal panels, corrugated metal, and glass were selected to reflect the existing industrial palette and celebrate NASA's culture of functionalism. Merit Award, Institutional. The new meeting and guest house at the University of Pennsylvania, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, welcomes important guests to campus, provides a place for strategic meetings and trustee gatherings, includes touchdown space for visiting dignitaries, and hosts special events. The project, submitted by Deborah Burke Partners, transforms a pair of late Victorian townhouses into a 21st century destination that completes a new precinct for visitors to campus, including the adjacent President's House, the Perry World House, and the Kelly Writers House. The historic Walnut Street facade of the buildings is preserved and updated with repointed brick, a new roof, reglazed original windows, and repaired decorative elements. The primary entrance to the meeting and guest house is reoriented to the south side of the building, facing Locust Walk, in a new at-grade, fully accessible addition off a shared motor court. To the east of the buildings, a former parking lot is transformed into a landscaped bluestone terrace for outdoor and tented events. The space is a quiet refuge from the busy 38th Street thoroughfare. Inside, the new lobby at grade has floor-to-ceiling glass window walls that open out to the terrace. A staircase and elevator bring guests up a half level to a conference room that adjoins a flexible meeting and event space. The second floor contains a boardroom and multi-purpose meeting spaces as well as offices, while the third and fourth floors are more private, with 4 guest suites and offices for guests on campus. The rear and east side of the building feature a new terracotta facade in a tripartite arrangement that reflects the massing of the original building. The material relates to but reinterprets the Roman brick of the original building. Transparent and veiled glazing creates a very day-to-night expression for the building and allows it to glow like a beacon. The project achieved LEED Gold certification. Honor Award, Institutional. How do you create a home for the homeless? Youth who find themselves on the streets now have a safe and accepting place to take a breath and change their lives. Submitted by FX Collaborative, Covenant House, New York's new building contains nearly everything at-risk young adults will need: a safe and respectful place to live, access to legal, physical, and mental health services, along with educational and spiritual support. Born out of a creative real estate transaction, the new home sits in the evolving community of Hell's Kitchen. The building's design is handcrafted and humanely scaled to contrast with the glass towers surrounding it. At 12 stories, the building is substantial and bold. Natural materials create a secure and welcoming experience. Solidity and transparency are balanced. Connections to the city are enhanced from the community spaces, while solidity provides shelter and refuge. The main lobby welcomes all users into the building, providing a singular identity and a central security point. A welcome center, a wellness center, and the Cove Cafe are located on the first floor, providing the necessities of care, food, and health. The cafe opens directly to a landscaped courtyard that serves as a community gathering space for relaxation or engagement. A defining gesture is the gracious wood stair dubbed the Stoop, which literally and figuratively transports at-risk youth from the street to an oasis of calm 1 floor above. The wood interiors of Pride Hall extend to a large landscape terrace, nature replacing pavement. The hall is light-filled throughout the day with city views facing both north and south. An art room and hope room are provided for youth expression and contemplation. Throughout the building, individual bathroom and bathing facilities respect the gender identity of all youth, a detail that embodies the safety and security Covenant House provides to all. Honor Award, Institutional. The 12,200 square foot Size Center for Innovative Thinking, located at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, establishes a beacon for university-wide interdisciplinary collaboration. The center, submitted by Weissman Freddy Architecture, Landscape, Urbanism, brings students from diverse disciplines together to create innovative solutions to real-world problems. The program, unique to Yale University, is based around team workshops that allow students to bring their ideas to fruition. The building's unique elliptical form is centrally positioned in a courtyard of stepped orthogonal structures. Curved transparent glass walls encourage circulation through and around the center and allow the rest of the university to see and participate in ongoing work. Indoor and outdoor connections between the center and the adjacent landscape will establish this section of the campus as a new circulation route and a new home for innovation. Within the center, continuous sightlines throughout unite spaces of creation and critique, encouraging interdisciplinary discourse. The open studio, conference, and breakout spaces create opportunities for spontaneous discussion and provide a link between public areas and adjacent instructional spaces. In keeping with Yale's commitment to sustainability, the project replaces the current underused paved plaza with a new planted garden, significantly reducing storm runoff and encouraging activity year-round. The building and plaza renovation have received LEED Gold certification. The combination of connectivity, sustainability, and new collaborative spaces will transform the existing plaza and establish the Center for Innovative Thinking as a new interdisciplinary learning environment that cultivates innovators, leaders, creators, and entrepreneurs in all fields and for all sectors of society. Honor Award, Interiors. The Gramercy Residence is a full renovation of and addition to a turn-of-the-century townhouse in the Gramercy neighborhood of New York City. The goal of the project was to celebrate the 1890s townhouse and at the same time craft a modern home where the clients could retreat from the intensity of the city. O'Neill Rose Architects used the idea of a vertical gradient to organize the program. The lower-level spaces are intimate and inviting, with an inner focus on socializing with family and friends. Both the garden level and the parlor level kitchen are more intimate spaces that open up to the cloistered backyard. Both spaces have custom furniture that the firm designed with collaborators, which allow for family gatherings both small and large. As you move further up the house, the spaces gradually open up to the larger environment of the city. The very top floor is crafted to blur the line between inside and outside so that you can reconnect with the city just beyond. With large angled windows, a sculptural skylight, interior glazing, and a rear terrace with an oculus open to the sky, the top floor is a continual dialogue between inside and out and between home and the city. This vertical gradient strategy of the intimate lower-level spaces to the expansive upper levels created a modern home in the shell of a traditional New York City building. Merit Award, Pro Bono Projects. Submitted by the Efficiency Lab for Architecture, the design of the Senegal Elementary School, located in Marsassoum, Senegal, has two primary goals: to rebuild the existing school campus and to introduce a new construction method to the local population, which can then be employed in other projects. The bottom-up design approach starts from the exploration of a tectonic integer, the rammed earth column, and expanding to define spaces and further propagation of individual spaces to form the campus. A new approach to rammed earth structure, the design creates a circular slip formwork strategy that enables rammed earth columns to be built without the need for elaborate scaffolding and formwork braces. Each individual column is poured and rammed in 500mm vertical sections. The circular geometry enables structural integrity of the formwork against lateral pressure during the ramming process. Rammed earth columns are arranged to form a circular plan that forms the spatial integer of the campus. The columns are spaced with a 75mm gap to allow natural light into the space, as well as provide cross-ventilation. The gaps between the columns also allow for ease of construction of adjacent columns, as well as create spaces for the roof rafters to be interlaced with the columns. The roof is created on the floor from woven bamboo and hoisted up to its final elevation. Each circular space is nested together to create the school's cellular spatial structure. The spaces are adjoined by a masonry wall created by L-shaped bricks that interlock in all three directions, forming a good bonding for lateral stability of the wall. The school is composed of 12 pavilions organized around the existing tree, creating a courtyard for the school that serves as its social heart. The school campus is programmed to be self-sustaining, encompassing not only classrooms, a library and reading nook, and offices, but also a well, corrals, and orchards. Merit Award, Residential Multifamily Multiple Dwellings. Submitted by Magnuson Architecture and Planning, the Cordon, located in the Bronx, offers 62 apartments for low-income households, with 37 reserved for families from New York City's domestic violence shelters, creating a safe, stable community in the Bronx. Emphasizing mental and physical well-being, the design prioritized day-lit corridors and well-appointed apartments flooded with natural light for restorative, inspired living, egress stairs with large windows and double-height landings to encourage safety and use, and an array of communal spaces for an amenity-rich building environment. These spaces include a library, lounge, community room, children's playroom, and rear yard, which is designed to accommodate gatherings, a small stage, and a children's play area. The variety of these amenities, their airy feel and locations, especially the top-floor laundry, lounge, and library with views of Manhattan and the East River, are uncommon for affordable housing in New York City, but reserving the best spaces for community speaks to the inclusiveness of this design. While the development is larger than its neighbors, context was important. Breaking the massing through variations in color and materials facilitated an appropriate scale for this new building. Red brick, which adorns the facades along both East 165th Street and Bryant Avenue, and again in the rear along the courtyard, corresponds to the customary rust color of the neighboring masonry structures. The classic stylistic choice sets this building comfortably within its surroundings. By contrast, another darker brick with blue undertones is a contemporary counterpoint to that long-established aesthetic. The metal panels at the upper floor setbacks and on portions of the 165th Street facade lighten the appearance of the development and relate to the metal-clad lobby structures of the NYCHA buildings across the street. They also combine with metal window boxes, which conceal air conditioners to reflect light and brighten the surface for a dynamic exterior. Citation: residential, single-family detached, 2,500 square feet and over. Submitted by Stephen Harris Architects, the house on Lake Maitland in Winter Park, Florida, is a modern courtyard house that utilizes the challenges of its site to create abundant opportunities to enjoy and preserve its lakefront setting. Once deemed unbuildable, the site sloped significantly and was crowned by a group of live oak trees. In response, the major volumes of the house encircle the oaks and protect their root system, and the house is partially buried into the highest elevation of the site, creating a green roof along the street. The home contains several protected courtyards, which open the major rooms to sunlight and expansive lake views. Generous eaves provide passive shade and extend the living space outdoors. The home is a single story, preserving neighbors' lake views while providing a stealthy, almost submerged sense of privacy. This low profile, along with a planted roofscape, offer the neighborhood a park-like break in the conventional fabric of more imposing suburban homes nearby. The home has become a stop on local tours and generated interest in the town. The architecture's simple language, stucco volumes of concrete masonry, belies the complex systems at work supporting the site's ecosystem. Portions of the house are cantilevered or raised on grade beams, treading lightly near sensitive tree roots and permitting tightly choreographed stormwater management through grading. Local crushed shell paving, pervious wood decks, and bioswales planted with native grasses maximize runoff absorption and slow runoff and erosion. New live oak plantings dot the finished landscape, expanding the existing ecology of the site and preserving it for the future. This project best fulfills the ecosystem, well-being, and water criteria of the AIA Framework for Design Excellence and provides an example of how architecture can respect its clients, ecosystem, and community. Merit Award: residential single-family detached, 2,500 square feet and over. In the mid-17th century, early settlers of Montauk, New York, established what is now the oldest working cattle ranch in America. Their remnants survive today in the form of horse stables, barns, and workers' cottages. One such cottage set near the top of a hill with almost 360-degree views of the nearby lake, ocean, sound, and nature preserves. Its new owners sought to maintain the existing structure's unpretentious appearance and the pastoral landscape, while creating a larger house known as Signal Hill, suiting the modern expectations of year-round living for a family of 5. Submitted by Bates Massey Architects, the house structure references traditional livestock pens built from glacial rubble that meander through the local landscape. Its stone walls extend to the top of the first floor, organizing its spaces and providing a base for the second story. The walls carve into the sloping meadow, reducing the apparent size of the home when viewed from the exterior. Some of the walls reach out and taper into the ground, cutting strategic sight lines into the hilltop and linking the house with the pool. These apertures brighten interior spaces, provide access to the lawns and meadows, and frame views of the lake and preserves. They carry from exterior, through the interior, and back to exterior. Sliding glass walls disappear into recesses at the central sight line overlooking the lake, providing an uninterrupted connection between east and west, sunrise and sunset. Perched atop the stone walls sit two simple shingled cottages, reminiscent of the property's original structures. Because the first floor is largely concealed, they appear as small houses lightly set on the hill when viewed from the road and driveway approach below. Merit Award: residential, single-family detached, less than 2,500 square feet. Originally named Garage House because the neighbors thought the client was building a garage based on the concrete block, the Catskills House, located in White Lake, New York, is in reality a super-efficient small family home. J-Spy Architecture believes strongly in making buildings that will last, one that future people will want to rehabilitate versus tear down. Using concrete block as the main material will allow this house to age like the brick townhouses of our cities, worth keeping. The windows are solid wood that add warmth to the space, and each window opening is protected by an overhang to add to their longevity. These overhangs are also strategically placed as sun shading. The deepest overhang is on the south and fully blocks the summer sun at noon, but still allows the winter sun to enter and warm up the concrete floor. When mechanical heating and cooling are needed, a super-efficient geothermal heat pump was installed to provide radiant heating in the winter and air conditioning in the summer. Although the house looks standoffish from the outside, the plywood ceiling in the main space adds both volume and warmth. There is also purple felt behind the wood slats in the plywood ceiling to help with acoustics. Finally, with the size of the windows, the detail of the concrete block being both exterior and interior finish, and the concrete floor being continued with a patio, the main room feels like it is almost outside with sweeping views of the property. Merit Award: small firms. Rarely has the firm Eric J. Smith Architect been asked to step outside of its preferred design sensibilities to venture in a seemingly opposite aesthetic direction. The client, a lifelong poet, knowing the firm's practice was primarily focused on traditional homes, called to challenge the firm to recalibrate the architect's eye and design a purpose-built, self-sufficient, contemporary writer's studio in the woods within Greenwich, Connecticut, near the client's home. The decision began with the client's youthful impressions of Walden and the simplicity of a small cabin in the woods. The goal, however, was not to recreate Thoreau's cabin, but rather to reinterpret it anew. The result of this client-architect journey is the writer's studio. Hugely appealing to the client, poetry is inspired daily and prolifically, fulfilling the client's main goal. Classical design elements present themselves, the axial and symmetrical plan, connecting to the surroundings with a balanced use of natural light, view, and ventilation. In contrast, every edge, corner, surface, and transition is entirely exposed, no hiding behind plaster finishes, moldings, or ornament. The studio attains a certain essentialism. Intimate, welcoming, and right-sized, the building is only 400 square feet of conditioned space. Systems are concealed with an eye towards sustainability. Electrical services buried, a well for water, an incinerating toilet eliminating the need for septic, and ground-source geothermal provides proper conditioning to preserve a 1,700 volume collection of poetry. The studio is of the place and of the person. Portions appear as having always been there, while others are new and transformative. The fieldstone walls are of the land, and it's as if the forest has grown around them, while steel and glass create an openable and transparent enclosure, a cantilevering counterpoint to the mass walls, all reflective of the poet's passions. Classical and contemporary design are no longer directional opposites in this aesthetic journey. Honor Award: small firms. The City Kids Education Center is a new childhood education center located in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. The project, submitted by Barker Architecture Office, is an adaptive reuse of a former lumber warehouse located under an existing residential high-rise. 6 preschool classrooms open onto a central double-height courtyard gathering space, lit by a large storefront window, as well as a constellation of pendant light fixtures to bring the outside into a large interior space with limited access to windows. The interior plaza, features a thickened wall that incorporates the reception desk and storage cubbies and provides a central gathering space for the classrooms. Windows of varying shapes and sizes in the interior facade allow borrowed light to enter the surrounding spaces on both levels and provide visual access for children and teachers. The classrooms are interconnected through double doors and shared spaces such as bathrooms and play sinks. Half-height walls allow for visual privacy for the kids and monitoring capabilities for the teachers. The after-school program for elementary school students is accessed up the stairs at the reception area. Apertures bring light and views to the courtyard and the street. Lockers wrap the courtyard volume in the form of a city skyline. Specialized classrooms for cooking, theater, STEM, art, and movement are accessed off the upper hallway. A lounge with bleacher seats provides a place for informal gathering. Plank flooring creates continuity between spaces and is also used to wrap the entries to the classrooms and windows. Acoustical felt panels cut into graphic shapes provide visual interest. The project underwent construction during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic prompted some ventilation improvements in the form of electronic and ultraviolet HVAC filters, touchless security, and check-in points, as well as the addition of operable windows to bring light and air to all classrooms. Merit Award, Unbuilt. Commissioned architectural design work by practicing emerging architects licensed 10 years or less, not yet built. Submitted by ASDF, Water Wheelhouse, a new enclosure for a 1932 hydroelectric water wheel near Cazenovia, New York, is intended to exhibit a historical example of hydroelectric infrastructure in central New York. The enclosure makes the 18-foot diameter steel water wheel and its mechanisms visible to the public while also protecting it from vandalism and the elements. The enclosed structure consists of a 2x8 balloon frame clad with prefabricated panels of 1x3 vertical slats anchored to an existing stone masonry foundation. The facade of vertical slats conceals the water wheel when viewed on the oblique, but as the visitor approaches, the screen becomes transparent to reveal the massive steel object within. Of significant importance in the design was to maintain a cost of under $10,000 while also providing a strong and durable enclosure for the water wheel. Although an obvious choice for the structure would have been preservative-treated wood, we sought a more environmentally sensitive method to address rot resistance on the creek. We discovered a local source of tamarack, a naturally durable wood species native to the Adirondacks, which could be cheaply sourced from a mill only a few miles from the water wheel site. Tamarack was intended to be used for both the 2x8 framing and the 1x3 facade screen. The wood would be untreated and rough cut to keep costs down while providing important long-term durability to the structure. The project remains unbuilt after funding for its construction was canceled. Citation: Urban Planning, Design. Submitted by BKSK Architects, the Battery Playscape is located at the tip of Manhattan, where land meets sea, locals meet tourists, and the bustle of the city yields to the presence of nature. Ecologically, the site is a dynamic confluence of water and land, including a partly natural, partly constructed coastline. Conceived after Hurricane Sandy, the 1.5-acre playscape responds to the site's past and future flooding by telling the story of resilience interwoven with play. It is the last piece of the Battery Conservancy's master plan, which envisioned a verdant future for the then dilapidated park. The playscape realizes that vision through accessible, full-body play immersed in planting, natural landforms, and visible water management. Opened in 2021, it is built to flood and recover, part of the embedded climate change narrative. The project was a collaboration between architects, landscape designers, and specialty fabricators, as well as a public-private partnership between the Battery Conservancy and the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. On the premise that early appreciation for ecological diversity fosters environmental stewardship in adulthood, the playscape's 5 zones are each designed around a landscape typology from the Hudson River Valley. The zones represent ways land and water meet in nature: bluff, meadow, riverbed, marsh, and dune. Each typology encourages site-specific experiences and play. Standing atop the bluff to view the harbor, looking at the city from houses in the tree canopy, peeking out of grasses in the meadow, or running up and down the dune. Custom play structures encourage interactivity through tall stone slides, multi-level playhouses, and performance space at the Showbox Theater. The Battery Playscape is a revitalized urban landscape serving as a respite from urban chaos, supporting open-ended play and using the local ecology to teach about resiliency. It is an example of the built environment working with nature. Honor Award, Urban Planning, Design. The Financial District and Seaport Climate Resilience Master Plan, submitted by One Architecture, is a shared city-community vision for a resilient 21st century waterfront. Grounded in community and regulatory input, climate science, and engineering, the master plan reflects an ambitious vision that can be realized. The primary design challenge is to achieve resilience goals while ensuring functionality and access to the waterfront. Lower Manhattan's waterfront is a unique confluence of urban life and infrastructure where our vast transportation networks converge and connect. This waterfront houses maritime facilities that serve the entire region, ships, a heliport, a constellation of public open spaces, amenities and historic landmarks, and the elevated FDR viaduct. Below grade lies a network of underground infrastructure, including 5 subway lines, power transmission lines, and the sewer interceptor. This dense urban fabric leaves limited space to site flood defense without walling off the community. To achieve the project's objectives requires extending the shoreline of Lower Manhattan into the East River to create space for flood defense infrastructure and waterfront uses. The proposed design envisions a new multi-level public waterfront. The upper level will protect against coastal storms with buried floodwalls that create elevated open spaces with expansive views of the harbor and the city. A lower-level esplanade will be close to the water itself and connect to piers and ferries. Ferry terminals will be redeveloped into new resilient and modern facilities with room for future expansion. This waterfront will also be designed to help advance the city's sustainability goals and identifies opportunities to integrate renewable energy as part of any new buildings or structures along the water. Nature-based solutions will be woven throughout to help manage stormwater, provide shade, and reduce local summer temperatures. Finally, this new shoreline edge will incorporate opportunities for ecological enhancements, providing new habitats both on land and in the water. Each year, the jury selects one project they all agree stands out more than the others. As you just saw, these projects are diverse and impactful. To have one stand out above the rest is astonishing. This year's Best of the Best in New York State goes to Covenant House, New York, submitted by FX Collaborative. The jury felt that Covenant House, New York operates at an extremely high level, providing much-needed housing for unhoused youth in a well-detailed and well-proportioned building, while also contributing to the urban fabric in a meaningful way. The building's human-scaled massing and highly tactile materiality create a marked contrast to the shining glass towers of its Hudson Yards neighbors. The social services are supported, accentuated, and elevated by the design, with its emphasis on natural light and art. Congratulations to the 2022 AIA New York State Design Award recipients.